Hi everybody and welcome back to B2B NAV. This week is a rather special and strange edition, topic suggested by you, Mr. Oli Brewood. So
that is right.
Throwing you under the bus immediately rather. So our props might give it away. We've got 3 bottles of Corona. We've got some lovely toilet roll,
3-ply,
and some hand wash.
Which
so
we're prepared to sell for quite a reasonable rate.
That's not getting any money.
This
We're
week's
out of
topic
sanitizer.
is personal hygiene and beer. No, it's not. We are speaking about the impact of coronavirus, I guess, across our client portfolio, contacts, and maybe we'll touch on events as well, I guess. Obviously, COVID-19 is prolifically covered in the news at the minute, depending on people's individual stances on it, and certainly seems to be suggesting has the potential to be a pandemic, and people are wildly being thrown into a panic state, and we can come on to that. What's your take on it to start with? What's your personal opinion on it? Ollie, where are you?
I mean, I guess it is spreading a lot. We can all see that, but I guess a lot of people have this opinion of it doesn't seem to be that bad from the point of view of, we have flus every year. I know it is worse than flu, but I
saw Trump even.
It's not end of the world.
Trump even tweeted last night, didn't he, saying something along the lines of, there's 27 to 70,000 deaths in the US every year on regular flu. So far, there's been, I think it was something like 29, or I might be misquoting it slightly there.
It's the mortality rate, isn't it? That's the key thing with it. Is they look at, if it worst case 1%, and I don't know, they think that's 60,000.
But I thought it's the rate it's spreading as well, I guess.
Yeah.
But then I don't think the news and the media are doing us any favours in kind of controlling the.
Yeah. I mean, we're clearly not experts to talk about the rates or whether it's serious or not. But I think one thing that can be seen is that for whatever reason with public mentality, this is getting a lot of focus and therefore it is having a genuine impact on business across the world.
But do you think it's a vicious circle? So you remember every time that you get this kind of a problem with oil production, like when the price of oil goes through the roof for whatever reason.
Or tanking in Dubai at the minute as a result, genuinely. I think it's down to
20, a little bit now. It's
$20 a barrel or something like that in Dubai.
It's gone up 8%, say. But you get this thing like, please don't. The first thing that comes out in the media is, please don't go and stockpile fuel. Don't go and fill your car up. 2-mile tailbacks to every petrol station.
Yeah, well, instantly we have toilet paper shortages in a lot of the shops that I've been to, and it's that we've not got a huge concern at the minute that's driving that. It's purely just public panic of hearing. Yeah, they've heard that other countries have run out of toilet paper, so we run and buy toilet paper, which makes us run out of toilet paper.
I heard one of the comedians the other day who read, who was sort of making a bit of a tongue-in-cheek remark about it, but was sort of referencing the plot line and the synopsis for Outbreak, the movie, and it's exactly this. To be clear, so it feels quite Hollywood at the minute. I mean, however, you wouldn't particularly want to be in Italy right now on a complete and full lockdown. So
is it ironic that this is made in China?
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I guess the concern is for our clients and our contacts for the meantime is particularly around the events and exhibitions, because I guess there's an awful lot of events where there are thousands of attendees. That the governmental advice and the travel advice seems to be for the meantime to be avoid having those kind of events to certainly slow down the potential for it to spread.
Countries, was it France, have banned events over a certain size?
5,000 people. Italy went into lockdown.
Germany have done the same as France, I think. So I think they've prohibited events over a certain attendee list again.
So yeah, we're kind of trailing, I suppose, island mentality in the UK slightly.
And obviously, we're hearing stories around thermal checks at airports and swabbing. And so Jen, one of our business partners, went to South Africa. She's experienced that firsthand there. I'm off to Dubai tomorrow. I believe I've got that to look forward to with 2 young children at the airport, which will be fun to navigate. But let's focus on that event situation, because I get this is quite critical for a lot of our clients, where one of their main routes to market, one of their main marketing events of the year is a key exhibition, and we're seeing. I've never seen it before actually, but we're seeing for the first time in a long time they're being postponed. Not cancelled, we don't think yet, to be confirmed on several events. So we're not going to reference a particular event here, but in the sense of postponed seems to be
one of our the guys that focuses on events here is pulled up a list of events that are cancelled, and I can't tell you how many are on that list, but it's huge. It was an awful lot of scrolling to get to them on that list. There were hundreds of events globally, and a lot of them quite big events that have been cancelled or postponed so far. But like you say, a lot of them are being postponed.
Because I don't think they really know what's going on at the minute.
No one's really.
But the postponement of it is crazy, because then you've got to let's assume you use the same venue because everybody's got their same stands, the same plots, the
3
same
months
setup.
later.
3 months later, but then you get into this cycle at the minute where a lot of them have been postponed from March and May's to June's, or other side of summer. I've seen some at the minute considerations being given towards September, October, at which point you're arguably in
Close to the
the
next
latter
year's
half
event.
of the year's event. So it'll be interesting to watch how that pans
I think
out.
there'll be a lot of, if there are, no one knows how this is going to go, but certainly from our clients, you can see the postponements. I think our first one was probably 2 weeks ago. And that was kind of right up to the wall on the event. It was, 5 working days before the event, it was like, it's not happening.
The US one was even tighter than that one too. It was like 24 hours, wasn't it, I think?
But
the US one.
you get that, and now you're seeing it sort of expand out. So people are actually postponing earlier, as I think you're getting all these kind of swells of people who
Well, I think
getting,
you've got that thing now of it as well. Other events have done it, so you're having to bow to the pressure that other people have done it.
you don't want to be seen to be the one taking the risks with people's
I
safety.
think you're seeing the organisers though, because you've seen some of the notes the organisers have sent out. I don't know if you've seen any of them, because I've seen a few kicking about where their articulation of why they've postponed or cancelled, and it feels like they're under pressure from two distinct parties. There's people like who's going, well, life goes on, let's get on with it, business as usual kind of hats on, and then there's obviously the not to say fearmongers, but the people who are obviously frightened of the situation, and particularly some of the trade shows where you have got a heavy Eastern attendance. That's going to thin the numbers, sort of like 50 to 60% at some of these events,
Which makes it kind of no longer economical.
Absolutely. So. But then it kind of spirals into, are they postponing rather than cancelling because
they're worried about losing
reimbursement? Is there? I don't know how it works. If the organizer cancels it, is that their choice or is it the exhibitor's choice? And then you get into the lovely T's and C's, which is interesting.
A minefield in its own right.
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
interested in what we do, because I think we found this time it's been interesting in the sense of we have cancellation clauses and postponement gets referenced as kind of like a fleeting afterthought.
That would never happen.
Yeah, we've never seen
the
it.
irony.
Whereas now it's probably more prevalent clause than ever to make sure you're covered for, both from a client perspective and a provider perspective, and a service provider perspective, I guess. But
I think it's been interesting to see what happens, not now, but 6 months down the line as well. Once everything starts to get back to normal, what impact is this?
Well, does it get back to normal?
It's almost just been a downing of tools. You can sort of see it's business as unusual right now, but it's going to be like one of those economic blips like Black Friday, where it's literally going to be, oh, right, there's the spot where it happened. How long is the recovery going to take?
You saw that. Do you see what got wiped off the FTSE this week on Monday? That opened at a crazier low level than ever, with billions being lost off the FTSE. You've got Chinese supplies virtually non-existent because all the factories have shut down.
Yeah.
So the prices of things, basic things like laptops and lead times on cars, is going through the roof. Alongside all the events and exhibitions, we're referencing events and exhibitions here because we can just see it firsthand, I guess, across our client base.
So that's kind of, I suppose, for our client base, it's quite interesting because most of our clients make things, so it's very much a manufacturing-based world that we work in, and there's, to a lesser or greater degree, everyone's got a reliance on some element of the Far East, whether it's for sales, whether it's for raw materials, whether it's for production, whether it's for workforce. They're all kind of, there's this sort of reliance. So you just don't know where it's all going to.
I think the uncertainty is the scary part about it, because I say when you're pushing back the events from a March to a June, we're assuming June's going to be all right. We're referencing September.
It's not a long way to push it back.
September's going to be okay.
But then I still don't have. Personally, I don't know if there's enough information out there about COVID-19 itself, about how it affects people, other than knowing that yes, people with underlying health problems, probably older people. Yeah. Other than that, there's very little known. Which is
equally worrying, to be clear, isn't it? Because I keep hearing people sort of flippantly referencing, oh, it's only old people, which it isn't. We're all going to be old one day.
Well,
it's a bit of a scary flippant remark.
I made the point that one of the medications I'm on is an immunosuppressant, and then I started thinking, maybe I should take out life insurance in case I'm one of the people with an underlying condition.
Yeah. But I think, say the under twos, don't they? So, one of my daughters is under 2 at the minute, so should you be worried about that? My dad's got diabetes or high blood pressure, whichever one he's got, one of the two, or probably both now. He's getting on a bit. But in the sense of what I mean is genuinely, like, is he at risk? So you
do start questioning it, don't you?
Flippantly move through it a bit, and then you can start worrying yourself, and then you sort of every now and again on social media read an article which kind of resets you and think, hang on a minute, the stats aren't that bad. But the TV coverage about it, I don't know if you're watching it on the news, they're covering it like it's a Hollywood like Brad Pitt movie or something, with like lead characters, and it's the fear mongering side of things in the press, I think, is completely got out of hand.
It's that whole, it's just basically clickbait, isn't it? Not saying they're intentionally doing it, but if that kind of coverage is getting attention, they're going to do more of that kind of coverage, which is just
people like drama, don't they? It's like that's the human condition is to sort of revel in other people's misery and want to see something dramatic or something extreme.
Speaking of reveling,
go on.
Zoom are doing pretty well out of it so far. Apparently, Zoom's stock has soared 85% in 2020 and up 45% month on month.
Nice. I
So,
mean,
Wow.
well, this is
some
this
companies
is an
benefited
interesting
from it.
point. I was going to say about our refugee colleague. I was going to call him Mike Golden, who's travelling the world. But I'll come back to him in a minute to remind me if I forget. What I was going to say was because I've seen absolute uproar on social media about. I'm laughing about our props here, but in the sense of the prices that people are charging for hand sanitizer and the prices people are charging for products that are clearly in high demand because of the panic state the nation seems to have dropped into across the world. What's your thoughts on that? Because that's supply and demand, isn't it?
Yeah. You head and heart, isn't it? You know, your head would say, absolutely, why wouldn't you?
Well, I think there's no reason to go out and rush and start buying this stock, especially when we're not in a dire state at the minute in the UK. But as soon as, we've had somebody go into the supermarket just around the corner from our office on, I think it's Friday, completely out of toilet paper.
Yeah.
So naturally, the next time you go to the shops, you'll think, I don't want to run out again. I'll buy double. But if everybody does that, it's going to constantly...
Yeah, so it's you.
No, I've not got any yet. My plan is just to raid work supply when I run low.
No, but I think genuinely, I find it quite an interesting concept of supply and demand that everybody accepts that if something's in short supply, high demand, it commands a higher price. Yeah. So you pay more for a flight, you pay more for a holiday, you pay more for the last seat on a plane than the first seat on a plane, as an example. So why is it any different for hand sanitizer? Because it's it's a health-related product, is it?
But then why? And I've seen a ton of things on this, and it's a really good point. It's like you think, well, okay, so now everyone's been told wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, and there's a whole
Happy birthday twice, I think, is the rule, isn't it? So happy
Something like
birthday
that.
twice, and you're done.
It is, but do we not always wash our hands? Isn't the advice not always to wash your hands?
Shouldn't
But I
everyone
get
be?
halfway through the word happy.
But shouldn't everyone be doing that anyway?
Yeah,
and it's a really weird thing.
It just seems to have really brought it to attention, but these posts that I've seen on social media and Twitters and the Facebooks, it's absolutely disgusting how much people are charging for products that are in high demand, and you go, that's
economics.
That's the way the economics work, isn't it?
Realistically, as well, there's a big difference between it being listed for that on eBay and it being sold. I really can't imagine anybody's paying £100 for hand sanitizer.
They're not, but I have seen a couple of things where you've seen a couple of supermarket prices where it's gone from $1.99 to $4.99.
Yeah.
And they're just taking advantage of the situation.
That.
But then, if you were the king of hand sanitizer right now, you would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
unless you're some kind of charitable guy who just wants to give back and look after the world, but that's not typily the way business works, is it?
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting observation I've seen across social media, this uproar of...
But it's funny the other way, because I will hold my hand up. I have actually considered, do I book a holiday to the States at the moment?
Yeah.
Knowing that Virgin are flying empty planes to New York. It's like, well,
Flybe the other week, Flybe left us stranded in Rotterdam. I was trying to work out how I was going to explain it to my wife again that a flight had been cancelled, but... it cost us another €600 to get back from Rotterdam by KLM the other day.
Yeah, I think
and within the minutes we were trying to put our names in, the prices were going up and up and up and up as people were jumping on the bookings.
I think they had more underlying health problems, didn't they?
They did. I mean, you always see it, don't you? Whether it's Brexit or COVID-19 or whatever it is, people making excuses to what's contributed to their business failure. There's definitely a Flybe were well in trouble long before this, but it might have been
that was the straw that broke the camel's back, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure it's played a part with people not travelling as much and not as frequently.
I think the other angle that we've not talked about yet is other than events, we obviously, having a UK office, we often fly a lot for meetings, and a lot of our clients travel a lot for meetings.
Absolutely.
And that's the other angle is I know we've had a couple of client meetings that aren't going ahead because contacts aren't flying over from Japan or wherever it may be because either they've been told not to travel or...
But the impact on businesses is real. So in the sense of for us alone, as I said, that one story there, it's costed X amount more to fly back because the airline's gone bust as a result of it because we had to get back. We've also got non-refundable accommodation booked for several exhibition shows that are coming up on the assumption that we were going because we go every year. And that's a sunk cost. And then you get into, are you insured against this kind of thing? No, we're not insured against this kind of thing, and very few people will be, especially if it's a health-related cancellation or a business failure like Flybe. It's even harder to get your money back. So the impact on businesses of our size is very real, and also even then from the revenue perspective of what we earn from an exhibition, what we earn from an event, getting deferred. if not cancelled, and then you get into awkward conversations with clients around T's and C's that you don't want to be having.
Yeah.
But
realistically, we've already had costs that need to be paid for.
But if we've got a T and C saying they owe us the money, if it's within so many days of the show, then that's. But you don't really want to force that on a client. But again, that's business. It's putting business in a really tough situation at the minute. And then Mike Golden, who I was referencing earlier, is one of our partners from Brandigo over in China, one of the agencies we work with in the E3 network. Within the first case breaking out in China, he got his daughter and his wife on a plane and flew them out. So that was right at the start of the first case in China.
That's
so
like
what we're talking
December time, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's basically been on a tour of Europe for the last 3 months. He's probably spreading it. But no, Mike's going to be with us in a few weeks and hopefully feature on the podcast with us to give us some insights into the Chinese markets and maybe, I guess, the impact of COVID-19 as well. But the impact on his business. He's been away for 3 months. So he's working remotely, he's travelling around different businesses.
It does force, that's the other thing.
It's a crazy situation.
All the stuff that you're seeing now about, certainly in Italy, where they're going to kind of help people support their mortgage with bank loans, with all this. I think if anything, we're in a pretty privileged position. You just said about we have a lot of meetings. We do, but equally we can do a lot of what we can do remotely. So we are in some ways protected. But when you then think about manufacturing organisations that have to have a workforce on a shop floor that can't, but who knows what that's going to
that's the major impact, isn't it? Because I was speaking to my brother, works for Barclays, and in Gadbrook Park, where he works, there's so many thousand employees, and they're not actually geared up for everybody to work from home. So we are either massively ahead of the curve or coincidental here that we've got the right technology and the right kit. If overnight everybody needs to work from home, we can do it. We can do it.
And that is, I suppose, something that's quite important in this situation. I know that one of the companies I used to work at instituted that policy, so they made sure everybody had laptops. Everybody had all the software they needed. The guys that were on phones and had landlines had all the software they needed installed on the computer, so they could continue to make the calls that they needed from home. So that in this situation they aren't stuck. And I know that's important. Companies like LinkedIn, I believe, have sent people home. In San Francisco for like the month of March, basically just said work from home because they were trying to avoid anything spreading there.
But even the impact in Dubai, so I'm referencing that because my cousin lives over there, but they've just shut all the schools for 4 weeks. I think they've only had 20 cases.
But that's that 4-stage thing, isn't it? So they've moved on into kind of, is it delay? Because contain is the first one, isn't it?
Yeah, contain.
And then delay and then mitigate and
panic.
Yeah. But it's that sort of thing of, I think we're interesting just because we're an island nation, we're that little bit behind, and I don't think it's necessarily the government's fault. It's just it's where we are.
But it's a crazy situation, but the impact on everybody's lives. I mean, if you shut a school for 4 weeks, what do you do with your childcare? Even if you can go to the office, I've no idea what you're meant to do with childcare for 4 weeks. I mean, you'd be all over the show. We probably have more people in here than ever contributing with crowds and someone crashing the hive. But I mean, the concern for me is I don't know when it's going to come to an end at the minute. So the deferment and the postponement of the events, okay, to a period unknown, and
that's a wave, isn't it?
Are we hoping it's going to get cleared up in that time frame, or is it more of a case of just hoping that the public have kind of forgotten about it?
The thing they were saying in the radio this morning, there's like a very clear pattern to all these kind of pandemic things where there's a gestation period and then there's a high infection rate. You reach your critical mass in terms of fatalities, infections, etc., etc. And it gets to the point where the virus has got nowhere else to go. And it just
probably where like Boris Johnson will do something ridiculous in the news just to distract everybody. That's what they normally do, isn't it? Something like that. So.
But there is a
conspiracy theory.
But there is a pattern to it. So there will be a point. It's like, I'm sure I read somewhere yesterday that China's kind of getting to the end of that bit. So there were more cases in, I think it was either Britain or Italy yesterday than there were in China.
Oh, I saw it was Italy yesterday, wasn't it?
Which means China is kind of getting over the, touch wood, over the worst of it. Italy's on the upwards spiral.
Do we know why Italy's been hit so bad by it? I don't know the answer.
It must be.
No, but I've been watching it, but I didn't know. I don't know if there's older generations there or whether it was just.
Don't know, because it's the north of Italy, isn't it? And that's kind of where.
But they've locked down the
whole country now.
Entire country, yeah.
I think what I'm interested in is seeing, will there be any lasting change when this is passed, from the point of view of, will more companies have disaster policies or work from home policies? will people be more accepting of having remote calls through things like Zoom because they've had to get used to it?
Yeah.
I was at an event yesterday and they had a no handshaking, no business card policy. Will any of that become the norm or anything like that?
Or was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Wow.
It made it a very, obviously we used to shake hands, it's the first thing you do when you meet a stranger. It made it very weird and awkward as you just walked up to each other, stood a metre apart and just said hello without
like
doing
heels
anything.
or anything, or bump
No,
fists.
it was a bit of an awkward wave.
Well, but then at Old Trafford on Sunday, you've got 80,000 people jumping around, high-fiving, backslapping, and goals.
More events like that are starting to be being played behind closed doors, aren't they?
Yeah, over time. Yeah, Six
some
Nations and stuff, I think, in some of the,
But then you go,
Italian Premier League.
You have 80,000 people in a relatively large space, 200 in a tight, confined pub. What's worse for communicating the disease?
It's certainly a strange one. I mean, I don't know. My gut feel is hopefully we're kind of
But then you
panicking
think
unnecessarily.
go back a few years, SARS,
Yeah.
Was
swine
it
flu.
like that for this? Because I don't know if
I don't
was-
remember it
I don't
being
think it was
quite this.
quite as global, but there was certainly an element with swine flu where it was kind of, it wasn't just
But it is like
in
that
the
Hollywood
East.
film when you see like the headlines in every country popping up, and you've got the US and then China and then the UK and Europe, and then you see Italy, and it's like, oh my God, this is really swelling now, all the different activities going around. So it's, I don't know if our brains are just groomed to kind of think like that these days, that you see these movies, you see these plot lines, and then the media hype behind it all the way through. And then, but the point is, like, from my perspective, it's impacting businesses in a pretty serious
real or
way.
not, it's definitely causing impact.
It really is, and it's going to continue to, I think, and that's the issue. Because I think, looping back to the events point, I guess, which was the starting point for us, if they do defer these out and push them back, it's going to make the summer and the latter part of this year a crazy period.
Assuming they go ahead. Otherwise,
Well-
there's just potentially
there's
an
a
awful
whole
lot of
knock-on
lost
of
fees
all
and
the
lost money for everybody.
Yeah.
There's all the events that were scheduled for that time of year anyway. Suddenly you're going to have,
Because
I would
October is
imagine,
typically a very busy month for us in
October,
terms of client
November, yeah.
events.
But you've
I
also
would
got things
imagine
like HIE and Vita Foods, which are very similar types of events.
And then suddenly they're
if
compressed into a
they
certain
are-
time period.
If they are squeezed.
Yeah, for anybody not aware, they're kind of at opposite ends of the year, one in May, one in December.
Yeah, but so hypothetically speaking, if they were squeezed into that kind of same period,
Do you want to go to both?
Yeah,
can you go to both?
Yeah,
Can
is
you
there a
afford to go
choice?
to both?
Is there a choice to be made at that point? And then again, that's going to have another knock-on effect with one of the events.
But like all the exhibition organisers and the event organisers, I should say, I don't know how well geared they are to cope without a show. You think about the money that's made from a certain show with so many thousands and thousands of employees. How well are they geared
Can
to
they go
survive
without
without
it?
that
Yeah.
income? So if they do have to compensate people for them choosing to cancel it, which I'm assuming might be the point why we're getting postponements at the minute, can they survive? I don't.
that's a
Genuinely
huge-
don't know, but it'll be a massive impact on them, given a lot of these events are done annually, or 2 or 3 events a year under one organising umbrella. So, yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting period to see that kind of unravel. So, anything else to say about Corona, toilet roll, or hand sanitizer, then, guys? Or?
I think we pretty much nailed it.
I think, we've gained ourselves there.
Nice. All right, everybody. So a bit of a random topic, but something certainly very timely and current to sort of pass some opinions on and see how it's impacting the world of B2B. Don't forget to check out www.b2bknowledge.com, our online ungated content hub for our clients, prospects and contacts, helping you navigate the ever-evolving B2B marketing landscape. Thanks a lot and see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.